Winning Miss Universe, in that night that I won, my life changed. Because suddenly I wasn't just Lorraine Downes, a 19-year-old from Pakuranga. I was Miss Universe and I had a profile. I always felt so proud of wearing that sash, Miss New Zealand.
Hello everyone, I'm Lorraine Downes and I'm happy to wish you greetings from New Zealand.
When I left New Zealand for the pageant, it was my first big overseas trip. I can remember boarding that flight and just feeling terrified because I was on my own. And for those 3 weeks, it was grueling. There were a lot of rehearsals to produce that live 2-hour show. I never had enough gowns, especially when you looked at the Latin American countries like Miss Venezuela. Every evening they would arrive at the function in a new sequin gown, a different one for every night. And of course I arrived there from New Zealand on my own with my little suitcase, and I would have had probably 3 sort of cocktail dresses, and I just had to keep wearing. So the actual pageant night, of course, very quickly went to, and now we're going to announce the final 12. I was announced number 1, which was just so amazing. And of course for me that was thrilling because that was my goal. So after the evening gown competition, they then announced the final 5. And I made it into the final 5. And at that stage, I was just blown away. And then it was down to me and Miss USA. And I just was standing there and I just felt this incredible sense of peace. So they announced Julie, Miss USA as runner-up, Miss Universe as Miss New Zealand. And it was a mixture of feelings. It was a feeling of just wow, shock. Oh my gosh, I've won it. I arrived in New York and I knocked on the door of the apartment, and the door was opened by Ruth Romero, who was going to live with me for the year. And she just opened the door and she had both of her arms open to me and she said, welcome. And she grabbed me and gave me the biggest hug. And then she pulled away from me and she said, you and I are going to have the most amazing year. And when I look back on my year, the best thing was meeting her because she became my mentor. Until this day, she still is. So I would arrive in a country, I would hop off the plane, I would have to have my sash and crown on. Every country I went to, I would do charity work, so I would visit hospitals, orphanages, I would meet the presidents, leaders of countries. So there was just lots of that type of thing. And it was full on work from 6 o'clock in the morning to sometimes midnight at night because the Universe Corporation are charging me out. So the more I can work, the more money that they make. I was very aware that during that year there was my job as Miss Universe and there was Lorraine. And the two were very, very different. I don't believe that I ever was exploited, far from the fact. And if anything, you know, winning that competition changed my life. I was ready to hand over my crown to the new Miss Universe. I remember on that night, it was a feeling of this year is coming to an end and I'm really excited about my future. When I was at that competition, I couldn't believe the confidence of some of the other contestants. And I thought, well, what is that? What is that about? Why do New Zealanders, why are we shy and why aren't we sort of outwardly confident? And I thought because I had learnt so much and had been given all those amazing opportunities during that year as Miss Universe, I wanted to share that with young girls. I felt that I could teach young girls about tapping into what's important. Once you tap into having a belief in yourself, that's where confidence begins. I think the greatest thing I learnt was you have to be yourself and you have to be true to yourself.